Dan here, under the lift, DD Speed Shop, just in the middle of making a deal.
A deal on what?
Window tint.
Ooh, I thought you already had that planned for next week.
Guy was not for me, as it turns out.
Oh, why was that?
He just seems kind of flaky, and this guy is the same price and will come right to the house.
Oh, well that's much nicer.
So I'm gonna do that. And
yeah.
Talking to him about the level of tint we want to go with.
Mm-hmm. Did you decide what you wanted?
I think I want to go 35%.
Is that allowed?
I think I want to go 35%.
Is that allowed?
So apparently here, which is actually crazy, so in Manitoba, the rules were, I believe it was 50% on side windows, and then you can go as dark as you want on the back.
Oh.
Like your front two, you can't tint the front windshield, you can tint the side windows. Your back windows, like the rear passenger, could be, I think, like 5%. Mm-hmm. And then the back window would be 5%. And here, the guy was saying that the legal limit is nothing on the sides or windshield and as dark as you want in the back. So it's a little different, so I think I'm just gonna play Manitoba rules and do that. Kind of carry on with life, so.
You heard it here first, folks.
Well, unless you're an officer. Here's the thing. So the reality is, I get it on like a truck or something like a Sam, but when it's a car like a hardtop, the two windows go side by side and there's no divider in them, you're gonna have no tint and then tint with no divider. That'll look ridiculous.
Oh, that would look dumb, yeah.
Right? And then the other thing is, I believe, for the most part, we're gonna put this in the Monte Carlo, which probably won't be driven, well, I'm gonna drive in the wintertime, but the windows will be down all the time, so who cares? The side windows are down.
Fair enough.
So a window down is 0% tint as well.
That is true.
So we'll just do the back. And I don't want to I'm not going 5% dark. I did that years ago, and it's a pain trying to back up and all those things. So.
Well, because it also impacts you being able to see, right?
That's how tint works.
Yeah.
No, I went 35% I want to do. I think that's 35 be mint. It'll look good, kind of smoky, and then life's easy. I'll think about it. He's not coming till Sunday, so worst case I can look at it.
Oh, that's fast, because today's Friday.
Today is Friday. He sent me the options were,
could you do tint like not black if you wanted to? Like, could you do pink tint?
Oh yeah, you can do colored anything. I think that's illegal as well. I've always saw that because gas, there's just do colored glass. Yeah, you gave me an option of 70%, 50%, 35, 20, or 5. So I did 35, kind of right in the middle. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll just see. We'll see what happens. I'm usually not a big fan of tint on old cars, but that one
I think on that Monte Carlo it'll look really cool. We haven't posted like any pictures of what it looks like yet. Like we haven't shown.
Oh, it looks ridiculous.
The paint or anything.
That came actually, well, we were out today, but I ordered a set of header cutouts. Those show up today, so we'll put those on tomorrow. So we can run open exhaust on it with the click of a button, which I'm also pretty sure those are legal as well. But what I'll probably do though, I say illegal, but I'm gonna have them, and I did it on something else, and I'll put some pipes to go out, because it's just dumping out of the car is so loud.
It's on the Nomad.
Oh yeah, but on the side of it, I capped them, and that's legal as long as they're capped with nuts and bolts. That's legal. So you'd have to uncap those, then they could go with the switch, and then you can just cap them and you're 100% in the right. The mufflers to put on that thing are a little, well, they're actually fine. It's a very nice, I can't believe how nice that car rides.
That car is so quiet. It rides like it's the Caprice. Like it is absolutely fantastic. We'll actually have to do a video on it, because that thing, I was worried it was gonna ride rough, but well, so it rides like Caprice soft-wise, but it doesn't have the body roll. No.
So that's the one we put on that whole Alden American kit with tubular control arms and 4-way coilovers and big sway bars front and back. Actually, I gotta text Gary there, old Gary Bear, and just tell him this thing's awesome. So it's sat low, which was my own doing, and the headers are low. So I gotta do the exhaust. I got it almost okay. I've been driving it the last couple days.
And what happened yesterday when you were driving it?
I don't think there's any problems yesterday.
Are you sure?
Well, it ran out of gas. In my defense, okay, hear me out. So that thing, I got it. The gas gauge originally was down to nothing. So okay, I put.
Keep talking. I just want to fix this. You're very overexposed right now. That's better.
Nobody wants to see me exposed. Anyway, so the gas gauge did work. It was low. I put a jerry can in it. It brought it to like a quarter. I was like, okay, great. So it had 5 gallons in it. We put some gas in it. I didn't fill it up all the way in case there's gonna be a leak or whatever. And we drove it around some, and I drove it to work and back, and then back again. And on the way back, I ran out of fuel. But the gas gauge was a quarter. It went up to 3/4 after I put gas in it, drove around for a couple days, and it was down at a quarter, and I was going into town, and all of a sudden, ran out of gas. I'm like, well, what the heck? So I was like, okay, well, maybe the gauge isn't working, or the stiff, or whatever happened. Danny showed up with a jerry can. You know what? The one bit of work to do all week was driving a jerry can.
Yes, the one bit of work, because I do nothing else.
Done. Anyways, put a jerry can in it. That's 5 gallons. And I immediately went to the gas station, and I put in liters, but I put in like 35 liters, which is probably 6, maybe 7 gallons. And then it was full. And I think that thing holds 20 gallons. When I Googled it, the tank is a 20-gallon tank. So mathematically, there was still fuel in the car.
But the sender is not sending.
Either, it wasn't sending. So either, I assume the sock or something like that at the bottom was broken off, rusted off. Maybe it had some water in there and there's a hole, so it's sucking air once it gets too low or whatever it may be. So we got this thing in here, but really this thing has to go out. The Monte has to come in. I'll do the exhaust tomorrow, and I'll look, because I was going to order a fuel sender for it, but there was a bunch of different options for it. I'm finding it out. It's like the sender is not much, like $40. Nothing was available locally. Started my life, so I had to order it off Rock Auto. But there was 2 or 3 options. There was, I think, different size fuel line coming out, and return and non-return to the tank. So I got to see what I want to do there. What I probably should do, I gotta look at it, but I think the fuel pump I have on it is actually a return pump that I have blocked off. And I probably should do a return line back while it's in there.
What does any of that mean?
So it happens in, like this thing. So it sucks fuel from the tank up, from the pump, and then the pump is trying to put it into the carburetor, and then the carburetor is allowing the fuel into the needle and seat, so it's just trying to jam fuel in there all the time, and basically it's deadheading the fuel from the pump. So what can happen is on hot days and stuff like that, which we're kind of at the end of it now, but that your big block truck did this, where the fuel line that goes from the pump or in and around that area up to the carburetor gets so hot that the fuel actually will start to boil, and that's vapor lock. So then it's just getting fumes, not actually getting any fuel to the carburetor, so it runs like crap. That's why your truck would remember it would run really good, and then the second it got like really hot, it would start running crappy and stuff. If you let it sit for idle and cool off a little bit, then it'd be good again, but then eventually it would be unhappy. So what they do is, I don't know if small blocks have it, big blocks had them for sure, and in that kind of vintage, they would have like a bypass line, so the pump's still pumping, but if it couldn't let it go up to the carburetor, it would then shoot it back to the tank.
Oh,
so the fuel,
I see.
Instead of sitting in this line just getting hot,
right,
it goes to the tank and then has a chance to cool off, do whatever, and then just it avoids that whole thing, which is probably not a bad idea to do. Now, whether we do it right away or not, I don't know. The other thing that's going to suck is dropping that tank now, because even if we run it right out of fuel, it's still going to be a third full, which is also going to suck.
Oh.
So I'm kind of fighting. I got to look and see what a brand new tank costs. Even though that thing runs fine, I'm a real big believer in
new gas tanks.
Like if it's the original gas tank, it's 60-some years old. It's probably full of junk.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm kind of thinking what might be the plan is just drive around as it is, order new everything, new straps, the whole deal, drill a hole in the bottom of that tank.
Drain her out.
Drain all the fuel out, sift it.
Just always make sure you have a quarter tank. Above a quarter tank.
Yeah.
A quarter tank means empty right now.
That's essentially what it does. But in my head, I'm also thinking, it's generally there's a problem. There's something wrong with the sender. Is it going to break off and then a half is where it's going to run out next time? Or whatever the problem is. Or, I mean, if that sock did break off, it's probably just full of junk, rotten in there. It's not great. And I mean, have a fuel filter on there, but if it's now packing a fuel filter full, or it's gonna get in the carburetor, it's gonna leave you broke down, those are crappy problems. And again, I don't know. You want to just look at the tank cost right now?
I guess we could.
Because it's one of those things where sometimes, I mean, you kind of look at it versus a cost of a tow. So we're just prepaying the tow.
Right.
That's the way I see it. Because when I ran out of fuel was one thing, but I thought, well, if this thing's now, again, we have a tow truck, but who knows where it's going to let go, this and that for the average person who doesn't have a tow truck because you're not an idiot. You kind of go from there. So we'll see if Rock Auto just has one. Because I buy fuel tanks that are going out of style. Fuel, hang on, fuel there. It's hard to try and be entertaining while I'm also just...
Yeah, you're really boring us right now. Just falling asleep.
That's not cheap.
Here.
Well, $225. So it's $225 for the tank.
An out-of-town tow would probably be the same because we're out of town.
A fuel sending unit is $41. That's Canadian. So for $300 plus some shipping, so we're $350, call it. Well, a brand new tank, brand new sender. That thing still has a factory fuel line on it, which I should probably redo anyways because it's going to let go. So I mean, for $400, you've done the whole thing. Well, I don't know, but I feel like for a tow truck to show up is $200 now, just whatever. And then if they want to charge mileage, like, yeah, we'll be $300 for a tow, depending on where we end up. So, or we tow it to 1 ton, which we can do, but that thing is a big car with that big motor.
Well, even when you were towing it around the yard, like you were this close.
I wasn't lifting all the way up the ground because of laziness. Oh. But yes, I mean, that tow truck will do it, but that's a lot of weight. It's screwed around. It's a hassle. Not to mention the fact is, if we're going somewhere, we're doing something, you've ruined that day, that afternoon.
Yes.
So it's kind of one of those things where that fuel tank is going to be a problem at some point.
Right. So do you just address it now or deal with it later?
You know, the funny part is we were talking about earlier about how people say just buy a new one. Here I am saying just buy a new one. It is kind of funny.
Well, in some things that makes sense. In some things it doesn't. Right? It just depends on what your priorities are and what matters when it fails and doesn't fail.
Yeah, so we were talking about it because in a lot of videos, well, Danny's putting it's on here, the Chevy the 55 two-door conversion. And the number one comment I get all the time is, why don't you just put quarter panels on that thing, just buy this, just buy that, versus what I'm doing is welding what I have together. And I've addressed it 1,000 times over. And for that specific situation is irrelevant, but we're talking, what I believe is hot rodding. We were talking about hot rodding early on, when the guys first came back from the war, whatever you want to look at it. Hot rodding was, you have this car, you have miscellaneous parts, or you have know-how, or you have whatever, and you're just crudely putting things together to make a hot rod. That was, I believe, what a hot rod should be, or whatever it is we originally was. And then clearly what happened is, that was for a bit, then like Hot Rod Magazine came around, the aftermarket came around, and now places like, you know, Holly and Pick Your Name or whatever it is, they have all these parts, which is nothing wrong with that, but they've made it very easy to be a hot rodder. Like, I mean, that 57 Chevy in the background can be built out of a catalog. Which
is very cool that you can do that if you want to.
Super cool.
And that doesn't make you less of a hot rodder.
But in, like, let's say that when this car was 10 or 15 years old or 20 years old, and someone was going to fix it up, now you have a 20-year-old 57 Chevy. Now, they would have had, obviously, NOS panels and stuff like that you could have done, but realistically, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it, the jobs that were done in the 80s when these cars were fixed up is just full of filler and ugliness and all sorts of stuff, because that's really the only option you had.
That's what you did.
That's what you did. And so the aftermarket's made it easier to put new panels on and all those things. There's nothing wrong in my mind with, if you have a wrecked one, the guy with side swing on one side, you cut the panel off the other side and put it on, that's fine. And so, yeah, if I weld the door shut or do whatever and use it as a skin, it's fine. But people in the comment section a lot just say, well, just buy a new one for everything. This one deserves a good motor. This one deserves this. You should put a overdrive transmission in this. You should do this. You should. And I get it. And I don't think they're saying it negatively. I want to address that.
I think that they're actually saying it because, like, you deserve to have your car have these nice things. I actually think that's where it stems from.
Now, the realities are we're doing 5, 6, 7 cars a year. Not right fancy to the end, but you start putting a budget on those things, it becomes even a small budget becomes a lot of money on 5 or 6 cars. And
you guys know it best too. You say your budget is $3,000 and then you start going over the top on a Monte Carlo that doesn't need any of what you've done to it.
You know, see how cool it looks out there?
It looks very cool.
Oh, that car.
But that's what I mean. Like,
high school
your budget is a figment of your imagination a lot of times.
Well, and I do think in a lot of ways I am relatively cheap. I spend money. I always think I spend money on what I believe counts. Body and paint is not where I spend the money.
And for some of you, you do believe that that's what counts, so that is where you spend the money. And that's fine.
But I've seen a lot of cars where, I mean, mechanically or like rough shape, you know? And I think that's where...
Or structurally.
Yeah, brakes and all that sort of stuff, good floorboards, steering, suspension. I've always been a believer in that sort of stuff. And then, so you put new in. Now, I will say, if you can find a 50-year-old ball joint that's got no play in it, I would absolutely leave that versus putting in a brand new one, because I firmly believe that's in better shape. But stuff like, well, the other thing, I keep looking like this is the Monte Carlo. It actually didn't have a gas cap when we got it. So who knows how long that has been. So there's definitely been something in there, water or whatever it is. Not to mention the thing was off the road. I think we found the reg on that thing, it was 10 years or something like that. So now it's a factor of, if the gas tank was sitting open to the elements with some sort of fuel in it for 10 years, Now, I know people in the comments are going to be, well, if you want to be a real hot rodder, you pull it out, you put a sender in it, or fix the existing one, maybe it's not that bad. Put a bunch of marbles or whatever, and shake it all around, and, you know, spend the whole time, or chain or whatever, dump it all out, flush it, put it all back together. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not denying that, but $400, I just don't think is, in the grand scheme of things, going to make or break us, versus the headaches it's going to cause down the road.
Well, and that's where you have to decide what kind of person you are. Are you someone that can deal with the mess around? Murr can absolutely deal with the mess around. He loves the mess around. His time has no value to him, and I mean that in the loveliest way, because he loves to, no, but I mean, he loves to tinker. He loves to like explore things. He loves to get into how things work. That's why he was such an amazing teacher, and why you guys all love him so much is because he can go so in depth into something with the patience of a saint, whereas you are not that way. For you, your time is super valuable. And so to give yourself more time, sometimes it's spending money in order to do that.
I mean, when the car ran out of gas, I was on my way to work. But luckily, I had left enough time that I could be, I mean, call it late, but I was there. I then called you. And again, there was some preparation there. I had 2 full jerry cans.
Yes.
One was still actually in the back of your truck, strapped in.
Yeah.
So it was literally
So I didn't have to do anything because I can barely lift those jerry cans when they're full.
But at the end of the day, so there was, you were at home, you didn't have anything going on that minute, you know? And I said, hey, whatever, and we were, you know, I was 20 minutes down the highway.
Well, I had someone over and I was like, can you watch the dogs while I go away?
But either way, so you hopped in the truck, but even that, so now you hopped in the truck, you blasted 20 minutes, you put fuel in the thing, you came back, so you were probably gone 45 minutes or an hour, right? But again, not the end of the world. I then carried on, I was like, well, do I come back? I was like, no, I fired it up, I let it run for a bit. I'm like, it must have been that. And it was fine the rest of the day. But then I boogied to work and I was there like just on time. So you're like, okay. So now you got to factor in the Dannie factor, the fuel that we luckily had versus you go get a jerry can, screw around with that. You know, I'm late for work now, so now you got to call in an hour or whatever it is. Like there's so many things.
Or then because you're late, you have to stay to make up the hour, and that sucks.
Or, I mean, who knows? You're the guy opening up the store, you're doing whatever. I mean, I drive these things as a
regular vehicle.
A regular vehicle, yeah. So if you're regular everyday F-150 or whatever, you didn't know if you were going to make it to work every day, well, it's a little risky, right? So. Well,
it's kind of like, I mean, a lot of you might not be able to relate to this, but like in the wintertime in Winnipeg, I would get up at 6 o'clock, run outside in my skivvies to start the car.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, 6:30. I started work at 7 usually, 7 or 7:30. Oh. But you start the car.
It's changing.
You have to warm it up, and then you leave extra early though in the winter because you know the roads are going to be trash, and your employer or whoever expects that you are just going to account for that time. So I could lose an hour of my morning just in traffic to get to work on time because the roads are bad. But you have to prep for that.
We drive our junk. We drive a lot. This thing here we put 300 miles on today.
Well, yes.
A little road trip. So that's the thing. This thing I brought it in last night. I gave it a once over, checked the oil, checked tire pressure, checked the front end around, and we're going because we're going to be road tripping it 2 weeks from now or whatever it is. Manitoba, then Lincoln, Nebraska. I mean, it's rock solid. It had no issues.
No.
So that's fine. And then I can accept that. So that's the thing. That's my biggest issue. When a car breaks down, I generally I don't think I care too much of all times. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Because I know when it left the garage, it was as prepared as it was going to be, you know? Now in the back of my mind, the Monte Carlo I know has a fuel system issue. So now I'm going to be driving, we're going to do whatever, we're going to go for dinner, and yes, keep it above a half a tank and do this and do that. And there's all these little caveats.
Like, what was preventable?
It's also just, it's like the thing sits low, the exhaust drags. So it's like, I fixed it some, and I'm going to fix it the rest tomorrow.
Yes.
But in my mind, so this thing, the blue 55 Chevy, the green truck, literally anybody can say, hey, come over your truck and be like, here's the keys.
Yes.
And it's not like, okay, so you can, but you gotta make sure you keep it above a half a tank. And oh, the transmission leaks.
You need to jiggle this.
You gotta check this every day. And oh, you can't turn it all the way left because the tire will rub. I hate that. Mm-hmm. So all those cars are just, they're old. They'll say, hey, it's gonna drive like an old car. There's no power steering. There's no, this thing is, nose high, whatever. Starting it with the tunnel ram and hot. Okay, there's a few things. But the car itself is...
But that has nothing to do with the car. That's to do with the motor.
I've created that. But when you tell someone all of a sudden, like, and not to mention just like Danny can drive any of these cars, and you do, and I don't go like, oh God, is it going to make it? So now, if you're like, hey, can I take the Monte Carlo to whatever tomorrow? Well, yeah. But now I'm like thinking to myself, is this going to be like that? Whatever. And I mean, for me, luckily, I was at a light, and I was going up over an overpass, and I was coming down, all of a sudden, boom, it runs out of gas, or like it dies. I'm like, oh, that's weird. So we're still rolling, put it in neutral, nothing. Well, I put, give it a little gas, still nothing. Well, then I put it all the way to the floor, and it fires up. I'm like, okay. So it has fuel in the back bowl, not in the front bowl. It's out of fuel. Pull her over the side, and start cranking it over this and that. I'm feeling around, nothing was boiling or whatever. It wasn't even that hot. I mean, the car had been running for 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. Well, we're out of gas here. That's what happened. Well, now that could have happened a whole bunch of different ways, and I've had my fair share of that situation. Where now for you, all of a sudden you're there, you're in the middle of the highway, you're at a red light, you get into town. Like it happened in a pretty easy spot. Mm-hmm. I pulled over the side of the road, you could pull over. But I mean, yeah. That sucks. Nobody wants that. No. The thing dies. So we don't want to do that crap. So I guess that's a long way of me going around saying that don't buy new stuff, but I'm going to buy new stuff. Double standard.
I don't think that's what you're saying. I think what you're just saying is spend the money where you feel it's important to spend it. Yeah. I think the other part of that conversation that we haven't ever really addressed is that it's fun to challenge yourself, and it's fun to just build something out of essentially nothing and to see where your skills lie and watch yourself get better. And the only way to get better is by doing the same task over and over again. Like you can tell from the first time you did a 2-door conversion to how you do them now, you have improved in so many ways, but you can only do that by doing it the same method. You don't learn those tips and tricks by just doing the panels and stuff.
It's one of those things you can break that down in any way you want. So I mean, if you want to spend money, well then why would you ever put a used motor in or a used transmission? And
if you had the money to buy all the new panels, you can probably just buy the 2-door car.
That's reality, yeah. Like
at this point with the cost of things and shipping and like you're probably also paying somebody to put them on then, like you absolutely could just buy the car. But you might not want to do it that way. And then that's also your prerogative. Just build your hot rod however you want to build your hot rod.
Sure, sunglasses.
Unfortunately, the sun today is like right in our faces, but I like the lighting this way.
Oh, good. I'm glad you do. I don't know. I also just like building stuff versus I mean, like the end, you just buy a car that's done, somebody else built. Then right below that is you buy all the parts and pay someone to put it together. Then below that is you buy every part and bolt it on yourself. And then eventually it's the point where, you know, people are making their own
You're making
panels,
stuff out of nothing, which is so cool. Well, and sometimes you want to be challenged, like you want a little adversity. You want to know, can I do this? And then not as many things seem as scary to take on.
For me, I like to build a lot myself and do whatever and do a mix of new parts and used parts and make my own stuff or whatever. And but the main thing for me is I like to drive my stuff. And so many cars I see put together, and then people will do it all. They expect it to be perfect, and that's the other reality. I don't care what you want to buy, it's brand new in the aftermarket. The odds of it fitting perfect, running perfect, and zero.
Yeah.
Freaking zero. You have to put miles and miles and miles on and accept this teething process as you're driving it, which I'm totally fine. That's
what we were talking about today, that we've just sort of finished with this gasser.
Yeah, it's probably got 5,000 or 6,000 miles.
It's been about 2 years it's been built. We've driven it all over, and we're only now just feeling like we've kind of got it totally dialed.
Yeah.
But that took 2 years of hard driving. And if you're not gonna put that time behind the seat to figure those things out, it's never gonna run how you want it to.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then you're mad at it or whatever.
And then it's not fun anymore at that point.
Yeah.
That was my issue with this car for me. I love this car, I love the way it looks, and I did enjoy driving it before, but there were these little things that made it too difficult. So I had to be in the mood to deal with difficulty to drive it.
Yeah.
You know, whereas now that we've fine-tuned a bunch of stuff, which is in videos coming up, like I'm actively enjoying this thing. Like I drove it to Pilates myself the other day, like into town with a cop following me for like half of the time, and I was just panicked.
License and insured, you're fine.
So I kept trying to flip my ponytail to be like, I'm just a girl. You can leave me alone.
Do the same thing.
Didn't pull me over though, so it's fine.
But so now this thing is rock solid. You can take it
I drove it all day today.
Do whatever you want. Yeah, we did a big mountain thing, so we left at 10 o'clock in the morning, and the car was running pretty well solid till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. A full tank of fuel. So this thing probably only goes 250, maybe 300 miles on a tank of fuel, but still that's a decent little cruise. So I actually want to go and actually do like a proper
how much we did.
But basically we were like, you know what, we're gonna head this thing, we're gonna have, I think it's 800 miles to home, and then we got another probably 800 miles to Speedway, and then 800 miles back. But I mean, if it's gonna make 300-400 miles today or whatever the number is.
And today we were in a bunch of elevation.
Yeah, we went through the mountains, so it was high.
Windy roads. I drove
hot.
through rain.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you had rain, which is good with the slicks and all. You did a good job there. The thing didn't miss a beat. Fired up.
No.
We stopped a few times. Started up hot, no problem. I mean, this morning it was good. It was loaded full of tools. The only thing we got to put is a little more air in the air shocks because it was set, and I put a bunch of tools in it, and it dropped it down a little. So just on big bumps, the tires just scuff a little bit.
Yeah.
But without the stuff in it, it's always fine.
But that was my first time really long-term driving this car, because when I tried to drive it back to Georgia from Mississippi, I had no confidence in myself in driving this car, so I really struggled on the highway, and I didn't like that. Whereas now, because we've fixed kind of all those little things that I did struggle with, and I've driven it a lot more, especially after today, I feel fully comfortable and capable in driving this thing.
I think you've changed a lot the last 2 years though. Like now you're hopping in this 56 Bowman stock 56 Chevy truck and driving that. That's if you can drive a 56 Chevy half ton that's stock, you can drive anything. That's like driving an old tractor. You know what I mean? You gotta let the truck drive itself a little, and you're
just guiding it.
You're just kind of along for the ride sometimes. You know what I mean? Everything is tight, everything is new, and still just you're kind of floating down the road.
You're seesawing that wheel a little bit, 100%.
Yeah. You know, so I think that's the thing is now you're used to that versus a new car. You can just dial down the road. It is what it is. You know what I love about this one is that there's bugs on the oil pan because it sits so high that it's like the windshield is the oil pan. That's freaking awesome.
I love this car.
So this thing's rock solid, yeah. But you know what? It's gonna be nice Drove today, was kind of fun. And I know by the end of the trip, I'll be like...
We'll be done with it, which is fine because it has to stay in Winnipeg.
Yeah. So we'll dump it there and it'll be kind of nice, and then...
Next summer, we'll bring it back.
We'll deal with it next year, yeah. So that'll be a good time.
Well, and actually what I think is really nice about this car this year is because last year it got no love and no attention because of all the chaos of moving. And this year I actually feel like it's like due respect from us.
This year was a really good year in building cars that actually got miles on it and kind of refining the existing cars we already have.
Yeah.
So now I really like it. I mean, some stuff's back apart, I realize. But I mean, and kind of like exactly 1 year ago, we road tripped the Gray 55, and it was rock solid. Now I'm having the motor redone just because I'm an idiot, but that thing can go nut and bolt back together, and we can hop in that and drive it anywhere tomorrow. This thing, rock solid, no issues. That 55 Chevy we drove, that was rock solid, no issues. Again, I took the blower off my black Nomad, but that thing's rock solid, drive it anywhere.
The green truck?
The what?
Green truck?
The green truck's 56? Been great, been driving that. It hasn't been on like a long road trip, but it's been back and forth to town.
But that's also never gonna be a long road trip truck.
I think it'd be uncomfortable just because, honestly.
You'd have to modernize it too much, and I kind of like how it is, just how it is, to be honest.
I just don't like how I sit in it. It's got a really big wheel, and it's a small cab. I feel like I'm just too big footy for it.
Yeah.
So it's fine to drive, but it's a little awkward. I mean, you could probably play with the pedals and put a tilt column in it, and they probably, put a seat or something else in there. And you could do all these little minute adjustments, or just
enjoy it as it is.
Sit in a 55 Chevy that I fit in perfectly, and don't have to worry about it. So that's yours. And I mean, I don't know if that's a forever truck or not now. I guess we'll have to decide if you want to keep it for life or if it's just... Really?
Right now, when people ask me what I'd sell it for, the answer is $25,000 because I don't want to sell it right now.
Well, I hope you get that number. That'd be sweet.
If somebody did want, if somebody's like, I'll pay you 25 grand for that truck, I couldn't say no. That'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
I couldn't sell it for that because just out of good faith, I'd be like, sir, just go buy another one.
Yeah, you can buy one that's way better than this.
But that's how it is. It's kind of a fun little truck. We have the property now. It's fine. Life's easy. So, yeah.
What are you looking at out there?
Well, that Model A grill is crooked.
Oh.
And I asked you if it was straight when I welded it, and you said...
I thought it was straight.
Well, it's very crooked.
I don't think it's crooked.
The center.
Oh, wow, yeah, you know what? It might...
off to the side
I think it moved when you welded it. I don't think that's on me. I think that was you.
Oh, actually, I got that wiggle weld wire last time.
That'll do it. Duh.
How many more minutes is there? I'm not gonna lie, I'm driving today.
I'm sorry, you guys.
It's not that I don't like you guys, but we were driving, and Danny was driving.
I drove the entire time.
So I got to be Pastor Princess.
Except for on the way, we stopped at one, because we went with some friends, and so right when we were kind of just outside of town, we stopped to all say goodbye, because we all live in different areas. And
why did you want to stop driving?
Because my neck was hurting.
Because why? Because you got to do
Because I drove like this for 5 hours.
Because I've asked her, I'm like, do you want me to lower the front end down? No, I love how high it is.
I do love how high it is, and I don't want it lowered. So I'll just suffer.
Anyways.
Remember the cool suffer chart?
It's still up there.
Exactly.
Trust me.
But anyways, so he drove an hour today in that car. I put all the miles on.
That was a lot of work. I prepped the car and put fuel in it. I went and got drinks and gas. I did everything.
I got drinks and gas and ice. Oh, I didn't get gas, but I got the drinks and the ice. Thanks for pulling her together there. Anyways, while I was Pastor Prince, it was so nice. I was just kind of lying back. I'm scrolling my phone, and there's a place that has their jumbo matzo sticks. And when I say jumbo, it's the same place we talked about last week, which is why we hurried through the podcast.
Oh, is that what happened last time too?
Yes.
So anyways, the matzo sticks of this place are just...
They were honestly amazing. We posted a picture of it on the Facebook
Leo's
stories.
Tavern, if you want to support the podcast here. But anyways, now you can get a Caesar salad with the matzo stick on it, and I'm thinking about adding a little chicken to it. And then I was telling Danny I might, at the end of it, I might have to tell the lady before I want a pair of matzo sticks to go, because I'll be far too full to think I want them. But tomorrow, I'm going to want that stick. Tomorrow at lunch?
You know what? When they tell you to plan for your future, that's what they mean.
These things heated up great, though.
They actually did. I was shocked.
They have a real good
I
crust
reheated
on
it in the microwave and it re-crispied.
Tell them.
Which is not usually what happens with things.
I know what I'm talking about. So I'm thinking that's what I'm getting tonight.
I feel like that's
We put a pile of miles on this thing.
It was a lovely day.
So
we went through Highwood Pass or something it was called. We went on this road that closes from December from November till May.
December 1st.
Till May.
Till May 1st.
Mm-hmm. Which is very neat. Well, not neat that it's
high
closed.
up in the mountains, so it's, I guess, a lot of snow or landslides or whatever. So.
And we saw a bunch of giant cows just roaming free in the mountains.
Highlands.
Those aren't Highland cows.
They were fluffy.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, they were.
No, honey, that wasn't a Highland cow. It was just a regular cow, but they were very big and like voluptuous.
I don't think that's the right word.
It might not be, but they were good-looking cows, and I think they'll make great steaks.
You're hungry too, eh?
I might be. I was just thinking about that steak I made last night. That was amazing. But anyways, the best part was we're driving down the highway, and the person leading us, all of a sudden he puts his hazards on and pulls over, and we're like, oh no, what's going on? Well, there were these 3 little bears hopping through the farmer's field.
It was a mama bear and 2 cubs.
Yeah, but she was small. But they're hopping through the farmer's field, and then they just like walked across the road, and then on the other side of the road there was a hill, and they just sat on the hill, and like we're watching all the cars go by. It was so cute. But I still didn't see any stone sheep, which made me mad.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a bunch of sheep out there. We didn't see any.
Not one sheep was seen.
We can do a trip again.
I'd really like to see the sheep.
It was actually a good loop. It was
very nice.
I gotta say, that was probably, if you're actually gonna test a car, the only thing about is where the road is closed for the winter months.
That's the last service.
There's no service. So right before that, there's a service station, and then right after it, there's a service station. And I guess there's no cell phone reception. So I guess maybe not the best trip for that, if like you're not confident in the car.
But if you need to do like a distance trip or something, and like you have some more confidence in the car, I think you'd be okay. But
well, for me, it's just because we're up and down, we're all over the place. It was curvy, not crazy.
But it was definitely like windy roads.
Yeah.
You had to be paying attention to what was happening.
So like that's what I mean for this thing now. So it went through that in the elevation. So we're at 2,000 feet and it went up to 7,500 feet in elevation. So it did that all the way up to the top, all the way down. The temperature changed big time. It went from
It was crazy.
Celsius, but it was very chilly at the top. Like it was, you needed a sweater.
It was like minus 11, or not minus 11. It was 11 degrees.
11, yeah. So, and then it was 30 degrees Celsius kind of in town, or 29.
Yeah.
So it was a very big fluctuation in temperature. That's probably, I don't know what that'd be, 50 degrees to 85 or something like that, 90 degrees. Like it was quite a...
It was neat. And we were able to smell the trees.
Tree smell.
Which is our favorite thing ever.
But, I mean, this thing went through all that stuff, rock solid, no issues, start every time, mint. So now it's like, okay, one more nut and bolt check, but I don't even think we got to drive this thing a whole lot more. You know?
I mean, we will, just because it's cool and fun.
Yeah, but like test drive miles.
Yes.
So I'm confident now that if this thing does let go, it's just the way she goes.
Well, and now for the first time ever, we can trade off on a road trip driving.
We'll see how that goes, but yes.
What do you mean?
I still feel like I'll be doing a lion's share of the driving.
Yes, that I do not disagree, but I can do some.
Yeah, be sure. I think that if there's any reason you don't want to drive it, it's too sunny, it's too hot, it rained a little bit, it's downhill.
It's downhill.
And all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I guess I got this one now, so let's let her rip. The problem is, whenever I'm driving, you just fall asleep, so I'm like, oh.
Hey, actually that's not true. When we did our road trip to BC and back, I did not go to sleep once. I was awake the entire time, entertaining.
That was a nice drive we did for the first time. The drive to Winnipeg.
It's so boring. I'm going to go to sleep.
I'm not going to lie. The drive 75% of the way to Speedway is also very lame.
I'm going to take one of my good gravels that makes me go sleepy time.
So whatever. I'll blast out. Just drive. It is what it is. But no, that's the other thing we were talking about this thing too. Going back to the buying everything aftermarket or whatever it may be, I'm really obsessed, and I don't know if you guys have watched the channel or whatever, I like how I have a lot of the same things, I realize that, but I like stuff that's very mechanical and we can have spare parts. So like this thing, I literally emptied the trunk out of the 55 Chevy, so my 2 tool kits, the spare tire, the floor jack, the jack stand, and then the miscellaneous bits and pieces. I grabbed the distributor, alternator. I didn't grab a starter, so it's got a brand new one on it, but who knows. And it all just whatever, the same parts
it would all bolt on.
The 55 would also fix this, would also fix, what the Monte Carlo probably. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, it's so convenient to have that.
Especially for us, we do a lot of road tripping. So when you can make it as easy as possible to go from one car to the next car, I think that, again, that helps you be in the mood to want to participate.
I just think, so there's that. If you start going aftermarket stuff, I remember watching, I was not really big into the show early on maybe, but not later on, was that Street Outlaws show. And the one thing that those
Buy
guys...
a train!
But those guys...
I quote that all the time.
But those guys talked about, so they're racing, right? And then they were going all over the place, and then they got into, what?
I don't know. Never mind. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. It's inappropriate. I'll tell you after.
Oh, lucky me. But anyway, so they're racing these cars all over the country. Some of it's on TV, some of it was for TV, and some of it I'm sure they had deadlines, and it's like, so-and-so is going to be here and making passes, right? Well, those guys were saying that, so obviously they had the race cars, well, they started making money, so then some of them started getting real fancy stuff, which obviously you're like, well, I got stuff.
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? But now that fancy stuff that was probably a little bit more one-off, custom, maybe not much in stock, breaks. Now you're SOL. So you call the guy, hey, I need a set of, these fancy pistons or whatever, and the guy goes,
it'll be 2 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, sorry, man. And you're like, well, now what? Versus you buy the best thing you can that's available.
Or if that is the way you're going to go, you need to stock up when you're buying in the first place. Which is expensive.
Is expensive and yes, time consuming and all that sort of stuff. I remember remember Mike there from Power Tour? So he's since moved out, but he had a place in Georgia and he would do, his big thing was LS swaps. And his big thing was LS swapping square body trucks. And I was talking to him and he had this whole list where he's like, he would LS swap these trucks and he would do everything like stock parts, so like the computer and all that stuff. So it was like a 2006 Chevy truck or whatever the year was, pick it. But then what he had done is he had gone through and every, like the radiator, the rad hoses, all this stuff was all factory stuff from O'Reilly's and he made sure it was off of like new Chevy trucks or whatever, so you could replace it on the road. It was, because I mean, like right now, if you're driving I don't know what the number, it used to be 7 years. 7 years old is the most common car on the road or whatever it is, like there's the most of, because, and I'm sure when it comes to secondhand repair, that's probably the sweet spot. So if you have anything that's 5 to 10 years old, like a Chevy, Ford, Dodge, odds are the parts store's going to have what you need, because that's the years they start breaking down. They're second or third hand owners. People are fixing them themselves. They're going aftermarket, so you can get the stuff. So that's what he did. So he would do all this stuff, and in the glove box would be a list of, hey, here's all your parts. So now you're like, oh, I need a rad hose. It does exactly what you want, but it's off of some sort of something common that you can actually achieve, versus custom made, or it's off of a weird this, or it's a flexi hose or whatever.
You can keep going.
Yeah. So we've kind of done that ourselves. I took that to heart when he did it, because at that point we were driving the Nomad, which had a lot of kind of common stuff, but the thing breaks down, you now need custom this or a welder or whatever to make it work. Like, that sucks.
Yeah.
Versus, can you fix it on jack stands in a parking lot? And that's how I feel with all these cars. There's not one thing I don't feel confident that we can either figure out what's wrong with it and fix on the side of the road, or for sure in a parking lot, or scumbag somebody and let us use their shop for a day.
Yes.
And we could kind of carry on. So if you don't have that confidence in your car, I think that kind of kills the fun. I've said the story before, but that guy that had that EFI thing that stopped working through Power Tour.
And then he switched out for a carburetor.
Put that, he zip tied it to the firewall so all his gauges would still work. Then he put a fuel regulator on and a carburetor to carry on. That's, you gotta give that guy all the credit in the world.
Oh, he was not finishing, that's
He was
for
like,
sure.
it's my vacation, I'm doing
Yeah.
it. But now he's, whatever, $800, $1,000 into all this other stuff to then ultimately upgrade backwards to what he had originally to kind of carry on. So I was like, Now,
You know
obviously, technology does work out, but
You know what he probably would have loved? Giant matzo stick.
are we done?
Yeah.
7 seconds in. Okay,
Well,
we'd like to
just
thank
the
today's
GoPro's
sponsor.
Gonna die right away,
That's
so.
fine. We'd like to thank today's sponsor, dsbeachup.ca, as always. We'll be back at this tomorrow. We got the Monte Carlo to work on. Sunday, the guy's gonna come tint the windows.
Which is today while they're watching
Oh yeah,
this or
today the
listening.
guy's coming to tint the windows, supposedly. So that'll be pretty sweet. That, we're still a few videos away from that coming out, eh?
I'm doing everything in order.
Everything's in order. We somehow got ahead, and I don't know how we keep doing it, but we're like 3 weeks or a month almost ahead, which is awesome.
It's because we are always in the garage working, and it's literally impossible to keep up. And I can hear you all being like, well, just put all the videos out right now, blah, blah, blah. We've done that, we're still ahead, and we're trying to enjoy our time a little more, I'm finding.
Actually, today worked out great. We were ahead.
We didn't film anything today.
So we just had it was just a nice day.
We literally just
is really
hung
nice.
out with our friends and enjoyed.
That doesn't happen too often.
Yeah, it was lovely.
It's very low stress. I actually really enjoyed it. So maybe we'll do a few more days like that. But anyways, middle of December, you'll see that Monte Carlo come out.
And ddspeedshop.ca for all of your awesome merch.
Check us out on Facebook too. We're trying to post more on there. That's a little bit more up to date.
It's the most up to date is Facebook. Yes.
People did get mad about that, but we are trying to do that. Anyways, thanks for watching. And I'm gonna go shower and I'm gonna go eat cheesy matzo sticks.
Bye.
Bye.